God. My friends, this is another chapter in American history of humiliation, of a failure of leadership, and all of that, of course, is no better epitomized and symbolized than by what happened when the Iranians captured two American vessels that happened to stray into their territorial waters. Now, everybody should know that when a ship goes into another country's territorial waters, the first thing they do is go out and guide them out of it. It is against international law to take them at gunpoint. All over the world, but particularly all over the Middle East, is the picture of American servicemen and one woman on their knees with Iranian Revolutionary Guard holding their automatic weapons on them. An incredible act of arrogance and humiliation for our American sailors. Let me just tell you what is really the most aggravating thing about it was the response after this totally unlawful action, humiliation of American service members, the sailors. The response to the administration was, and I'm not making this up, White House Press Secretary Josh Earnest said the sailors were offered, quote, the proper courtesy that you would expect, unquote. Being held at gunpoint on their knees with their hands behind their neck is, in the words of the White House Press Secretary, the proper courtesy that you would expect. The Secretary of State, John Kerry, offered his, quote, gratitude to Iranian authorities for their cooperation in swiftly resolving this matter. That's the American Secretary of State after gross violation of international law. Our American servicemen are put on their knees by a bunch of two-bit Iranians. Vice President Joe Biden described the incident as, quote, standard nautical practice. The Vice President of the United States says that when you put Americans on their knees and point weapons at them with evil intention, that's standard nautical practice. What planet has the Vice President of the United States been on? And now, to cap it all off, this week, Iranian Ayatollah Khomeini pinned the Order of Fath Medal to the chests of those that mistreated and humiliated American personnel. I repeat, these people were given awards and medals by the Ayatollah Khomeini administration, has still failed to condemn Iran's behavior for what it was, a violation of international law and centuries of maritime tradition. According to a recent article in the Navy Times, legal experts all agree that this hostile incident represents a gross violation of international law. So I asked my friend from South Carolina, is there any explanation that could possibly be understood about this act of violation of international law, of humiliation of American service members? There's only one reason, and that is they don't want to upset the Iranians. They don't want to disturb the $100 billion or so that's going to the Iranians as we speak while they buy weapons and toys all over Europe. And so here we have now seen American service personnel put on their knees with guns at their heads, and the heads, most important people in our government, praise the Iranians for their action. I would ask my friend, how else could you explain the not passivity but absolute endorsement by the Vice President of the United States and the Secretary of State for this kind of humiliating behavior?
Well, I think thank you, Senator